So in this video, we have a woman who is going to explain why she chooses to be single as a 46-year-old CEO. All right. Now, before I do that, let me say this. Women that be out here saying they choose to be single, straight up lying. All right. It's not that they choose to be single. It's that the man that they want is not choosing them. Right. Because if the man that they wanted to be with them and they was like, hey, I want to be with you, baby, they'd be like, okay. Right. They wouldn't say no. All right. So this whole choosing to be single is just straight up nonsense. It's just a way for them to cope and just, take the pressure off them for being single. All right. But, let's hear what she has to say. Right. Let's hear her reasoning for it. And then I'll share my thoughts.
So today I was talking to this guy and we were trying to plan a little coffee meetup, whatever. And I was saying how I had to do something and check my schedule. And the first thing he said was, "You're too famous/important."
I think she's lying. Like, who says that? What dude says you're too important? Like, you're too famous, you're too important? Who says that? Like, I don't see no guy saying you're too important. Like, I don't believe any guy said that. I just find it hard to believe that. I think it's a lie, but that's just me. All right.
And this is why. People ask me all the time why I am single. That is one of the main reasons why I am single. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Zakia Blaine. I'm the CEO and founder of the premier black-owned activewear brand in the country. Like I say, that just rolls off my tongue. Anywho, as someone who has been in the public eye for years.
First of all, does anyone know who she is? I have no idea who she is. Like, I've never heard of her. It's the first time I've seen her. This whole talk that she's famous in the public eye. I've never seen or heard of this woman in my life. So I think it's just nonsense. Like, I don't think this guy, whoever she's talking to, never said anything like this because I've never seen her. But maybe I'm wrong. If you guys have heard of her, let me know.
Years. It is very hard to date men who do not understand the lifestyle of a person who is in the public eye. And I've dated men over the years, and men will say, they have no problem with it. When I'm out often, I get recognized by people. Again, I've been in these social media streets for years. So, my customers, they'll see me, they want pictures, they want hugs. We bust it up because I love my customers. But most men can't handle that. That line to me is like when a man says to a woman, "Hey, big money." and I've had my share of that as well. Because most men will say they're okay with it. I don't mind dating a woman who has more money than me. I don't mind dating a woman who's in the public eye. But then when they're in it, when they're in the relationship, then that resentment starts to bubble up. That ego, baby, that ego starts to eat away at them.
See, this is the thing, right? The women like to always say that men are insecure, that they make more money than them. I'm not saying that there isn't guys like that, but that's not the case, right? It's your attitude, right? It's how you act. It's how you act when you're a woman that does make more money than your man, right? Because if you're a man and let's say you get into a disagreement, there's an argument. Sometimes women have this idea that because they make more money that they get to call the shots, right? They get to act a certain way. And of course, as a man, if you're supposed to be the leader, you're not gonna tolerate that level of disrespect from your woman, right? Because if you're a man, you see yourself as a leader, you're not gonna let your woman be this person that's going to seem like they're wearing the pants in the relationship. Right. So it's a lot of women don't know how to handle making more money than a man. Right. Because they think because they make more money than that man, that they get to call the shots and they get to act a certain way. Like, all right, I make more money. I don't need to listen to you. And of course, as a man, that any man that has any respect for himself, they're not going to tolerate that level of disrespect from their woman. So I don't think a lot of men have any problem with a woman making more money than them. It's your attitude. It's how you act. And if you can listen to her, you can hear the way she speaks, right? The way she talks. She doesn't come off as feminine at all. She sounds like the type of person that says, hey, if something, like, I'm the one that's gonna be making decisions in this relationship, like, you know what, I make more money than you, and because she makes more money than you, she's going to act a way that's going to be very disrespectful to a man. And like I said, men are not going to deal with that, nor should they. Nor should they from their woman. You just shouldn't. Like, if you're a self-respecting man that you see yourself as a leader, if she's gonna come up with that attitude where, you know, she thinks she's running the shots, it's like, all right, cool, do that by yourself. All right, you this big boss, whatever you want to call it, 40 CEO. Do that shit by yourself. I don't have to deal with that. All right, so it's not about the ego or anything like that. It's respect, and men want respect. That's the big thing. Men really value respect, and if you're not getting it from your woman, then you don't need to be with that person, right? And I think that's what but a lot of these ladies like to say, oh, it's because you make more money from, which is it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say that, oh, because I make more money, you're insecure about that. It's really not. It's just it's respect. That's pretty much what it is. And some of these women can't handle that. All right.
And then ultimately it doesn't work out because they end up resenting me. They don't want to, but they do, right? And so of course that's not gonna go anywhere, because saying that is instantly, I know that it's gonna be an issue, and we can't even go any further. But to answer all the questions of why I'm single, that's one of the reasons why I choose to be single, because I'm not going to change my lifestyle to appease a man's ego. I'm not going to dumb myself down to appease a man's ego. I am who I am, and I'm going to stand in that. I do great things, right? And I'm going to stand in that. And any man who chooses to be in my presence, in my world, has to be okay with that, and has to be very secure in who he is. And what I find is most men are not. Yeah. They ain't.
See that? You already hear the way she's talking about it. You need to be secure in my world. If you're a man now, you in my. We got to be in her world. What man gonna deal with? No man's gonna want to deal with that. And that's not why she's. And you know why she's single. See, first of all, here's a bunch of reasons why she's single, right? First of all, who labels themselves like, I'm a 46-year-old CEO? Like, who cares? Like, nobody cares. Second, you're 46, right? That's over. That's done. Like 46. Like, you should have been like married and had a man. Also, you got a bunch of, you know me, when it comes to this. Here we go. Let's go back so you can see it. Bow. Tattoos on the arm. She got the sleeve going. And if you see my video, you know how I feel about tattoos. Too much tattoos on a woman, huge red flag for me. I don't deal with that. That's just too much. All right. So these are the reasons why she's single. It's not that she chooses to be single. It's just that the man that she wants isn't choosing her. That's the reason, right? She sounds like a boss lady that nobody want to deal with. Nobody wants to deal with that, right? No one wants to deal with that attitude, right? She doesn't really come across as very feminine. And she seems like a person that, because she makes more money than you and she's famous, even though I don't know her, I don't think anybody else knows her, she's gonna have the attitude that, yeah, I run this. You need to follow my lead. And of course, in any relationship, this is just not gonna work. All right. So those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.